Hello, boys and girls. We're going to work again today on some vocabulary. Our story today is the second part of Beauty and the Beast, and we're actually going to go to that section. So Beauty and the Beast part 2. And if you haven't already done so, you're going to complete this before you watch the video and then correct it as you watch the video. But you're going to, for right now, turn to the vocabulary word and word work for constant. Constant. In the story, we hear wear this locket as a constant reminder. Here is an example of constant. Constant is something happening all the time over a long period of time. Oops, that should be. It's an adjective. It describes something. So you could say the noise in the lunchroom was constant, meaning it just kept going and it didn't stop. Or you could say, if you look at this picture, the traffic at certain times of day in the big city is constant. So when we look here, I want you to, I think this is a typo, just like Miss Medved just had one. And so instead of someone, I want you to think of something, just like we just did, the constant noise. Sketch a picture of something that is constant. So go ahead and cross out one and write thing above it. So I want you to think of something that is constant, that happens all the time, over and over again. Like the noise in the cafeteria, obviously that doesn't happen all day long, but when people are in there, it sounds constant. And believe me, I have had my share of lunch duty, and it is constant all the time. It doesn't stop. So think of something and sketch your something here in this box. Something that's constant. I'm going to sketch for myself an analog clock, which we'll talk about later on this year. But for me, I think of a clock as being constant, of course, unless it runs out of battery or the electricity is turned off to it. But to me, the ticking of the second hand on the clock is constant. So here's my big hand, which tells me the minute, and here is my little hand, which tells me the hour. But then there's always this other hand. And if you remember back from your classroom, in your classroom last year, you had a clock and it was like that. So the second hand is always moving, tick, 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 all the way around. Now you don't notice it because it's moving so slowly, but the minute hand and the hour hand are always moving too, but they move so slowly it's hard to tell. So for me, this would be something that's constant. Maybe you did something else. Maybe your dog barks constantly. Or maybe your mom drives fast, and that's constant. It always happens over and over again. Or maybe your baby brother cries every morning and nonstop, and that's constant. So when you're done then, I want you, that was my T. I want you to write your sentence using the word constant and using what you've sketched here. So I am going to write mine. The ticking, remember I'm going to touch every line. The ticking of the clock is constant. And I'm going to put my period. Then you're going to take this and you're going to type it into our assignment in Schoology, making sure to use a capital letter at the beginning and a punctuation mark at the end. Have a couple of you that haven't done that, so make sure you're very careful with it. Okay, so that is our video for constant.